If you're feeling lost, it's not because you're broken, it's because you've been obeying fear. For the next 14 days, we're going to change that. You'll act when fear says freeze. You'll speak when doubt says stay quiet, and by the end you won't recognize who you used to be. This is where personal power begins, in the decision to no longer live on autopilot. You can't change what you tolerate, and you can't become who you're meant to be if you're still clinging to who you used to be. Growth demands discomfort. It requires you to walk away from the familiar in pursuit of the exceptional. Everything you want exists outside your comfort zone. Not some of it, all of it. Your next level isn't inside, your habit sits behind them. It's on the other side of fear, laziness, self-doubt, and distraction, and the only way through is with discipline, clarity, and ruthless self-honesty. Because let's be honest, you know what's holding you back. It's not a mystery. It's not the economy, your boss, or your past. It's you. It's your choices, your standards, your unwillingness to demand more of yourself when it's inconvenient. And until you confront that truth, you'll remain stuck chasing potential but never living in it. There's a version of you that's powerful, focused, and relentless. A version of you that doesn't negotiate with excuses. That version isn't a fantasy, it's a decision. A decision to stop settling. A decision to stop reacting and start creating. You weren't born to be average. Average is the result of abandoning your potential. It's the byproduct of compromise. But every day is another chance to reject average, to rise, to build, to become. You don't need more time, you need more intensity, more presence, more fire. Burn brighter than your excuses, become louder than your fears. Because the world doesn't change when you whisper, it changes when you roar. And here's the truth no one tells you. Your transformation won't be celebrated at first. People won't understand. They'll question your ambition, mock your discipline, and resist your evolution. Why? Because your growth makes their stagnation uncomfortable. But let them misunderstand you. Let them criticize while you create. The road to greatness is paved with lonely nights and early mornings. It's paid for with sacrifice. But the cost of greatness is nothing compared to the pain of regret. So rise now. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. Your life is happening whether you lead it or not. The question is, will you look back one day proud of your courage or haunted by your hesitation? That decision? It starts today, right now. With the next breath, the next choice, the next step, choose wisely, choose growth, choose you. Stop waiting for the perfect plan. Stop collecting information like it's a trophy. Action is the separator. The line between the person who talks and the one who becomes is drawn by action. You don't need permission to become extraordinary. You just need a decision, backed by discipline, repeated daily. You've been taught to fear failure, but failure is nothing more than feedback. It's a mirror showing you where you still need to grow. Stop avoiding it, seek it, learn from it. Refuse to be paralyzed by the judgment of others who never dared to try. You want clarity? Then move. You want confidence? Then act. You want greatness? Then sacrifice. There is no secret path, no shortcut. The bridge between where you are and where you want to be is built with bricks of commitment, sweat, and persistence. And as you walk that path, there will be pain, yes. Growth is painful. Letting go of who you were is painful, but not growing, that's agony. Living a life beneath your potential is the slow death of the soul. So pick your pain, the pain of growth or the pain of regret. Stop trying to fit in with people who gave up on themselves. Stop waiting for applause from those who never had the courage to start. This journey is yours, and yes, it's lonely sometimes, but so is greatness, and the few who choose it never look back. Your habits create your future, not your hopes, not your dreams, your habits. What you do daily shapes what you become permanently. So stop romanticizing potential and start executing reality. Wake up with purpose, work with fire, sleep with pride. And if you stumble, good. That means you're moving. That means you're trying. Dust off the dirt, learn the lesson, move again. Resilience isn't a trait, it's a decision made over and over again when things get hard. You're not powerless, you're not broken, you're not stuck, you're just distracted. Reclaim your attention, reclaim your drive, reclaim your future. You get one shot at this life. One chance to write your story. Don't waste another line. Today isn't just another day, it's a page, and you are the author. Will you write a story of hesitation or a story of transformation? Will you write about struggle or about the strength that came from it? You don't need easy, you need possible. And possible begins when you stop arguing for your limitations and start acting like the person your future demands you become. Stop seeking motivation. Create momentum. Motivation fades, but momentum compounds. Do one hard thing today, then another. Let your progress become your addiction. The mind will whisper doubts. Let it. Then outwork it. Out-train it, out-persist it. Your doubt has no power unless you give it your time. So give your time to results. Give your time to transformation. Because when the storm comes, and it will, you don't rise to your goals, you fall to your standards. Build high standards, ruthless standards, because dreams are built on discipline, not emotion. You want people to notice you? Then do something noticeable, not flashy, not fake, but real. Unshakable, unbreakable. Let your results speak in silence and your presence scream in impact. Now stand up, straighten your back, fix your eyes forward. Today you act, not think. Today you move, not wait. Today is yours. Own every second of it. Most people are imprisoned not by bars but by beliefs, invisible thoughts deeply rooted, passed down, repeated, and never challenged. These beliefs dictate what's possible, what's acceptable, and what's realistic. And because they were accepted as truth long ago, they operate without resistance like invisible chains around the mind. But reality does not respond to what's realistic. It responds to what's intentional. What you believe defines what you attempt, and what you attempt defines what you receive. If your beliefs are small, your actions will be safe. If your beliefs are bold, your actions will be courageous. Success doesn't begin with strategy, it begins with identity. If you see yourself as someone who barely survives, you'll sabotage every opportunity to thrive. But if you rewire your identity to match your vision, you'll begin acting like the person your future demands before the evidence shows up. The strongest prison is the one you don't know you're in. That's why self-awareness is power. Until you examine your patterns, your doubts, and your inner dialogue, you'll unconsciously repeat the same limitations, convinced that's all there is. Change begins with interruption, a question, a pause, a moment of rebellion against the autopilot of your life. It's looking at your habits and asking, does this serve who I'm becoming or just who I've been? Most people avoid this work because it's uncomfortable. But growth lives in discomfort. Always has, always will. Everything you believe was learned, and anything learned can be unlearned. That includes fear, lack, and self-doubt. These are not permanent features. They are mental habits that can be replaced with clarity, abundance, and conviction. It's not what happens to you that defines your life, it's how you interpret it. The same setback can be a breakdown or a breakthrough. The difference is meaning, and meaning is a choice. You can choose to see pain as proof you're cursed, as proof you're being shaped. You can decide that failure is a signal to stopper, a signal to rise. Your mind is a lens. It filters every experience through the frame you've built. If that frame is based on fear and scarcity, the world looks dangerous and limited. But if that frame is built on faith and possibility, even the hardest moments hold opportunity. Reprogramming your mind is not a one-time event. It's a daily decision. You wake up and choose your thoughts the same way you choose your clothes. You don't wear yesterday's outfit today, so why wear yesterday's doubts? The words you speak to yourself are spells, and your mind believes them, whether they're empowering or limiting. If you constantly declare, "I'm stuck," your actions will match that belief. But if you say, "I'm learning," even mistakes become fuel. Success is less about doing and more about being. When you become the kind of person who is disciplined, focused, and intentional, success becomes inevitable. You stop chasing it and start embodying it. If you want to change your results, change your rituals. If you want to change your rituals, change your beliefs. And if you want to change your beliefs, change your self-conversation. That's where the real work begins, in the dark, quiet corners of your mind, where no one's watching but everything is being shaped. The battle is not out there, it's within. And once you win that battle, there's nothing left to fear. Now consider this. Every fear you allow to linger becomes a decision made on your behalf. A silent agreement with limitation. And the longer you wait to confront it, the more you train yourself to obey it. Fear thrives in delay. It feeds on procrastination. You say you'll act tomorrow, and fear grows stronger today. You rationalize, you justify, you negotiate, but fear doesn't bargain, it dominates. Every time you shrink back, you're rehearsing your own surrender. You're teaching your nervous system that discomfort means danger, that boldness means risk, and that safety is more important than growth. But here's the unfiltered truth. Safety is an illusion. The real danger is standing still. The real risk is postponing your life in exchange for approval, comfort, or false certainty. You will never become the version of yourself you admire if you keep making peace with fear. The person you dream of being lives on the other side of your defiance. The you that inspires others doesn't hide from adversity, they welcome it. Decide right now that fear no longer gets to be the editor of your destiny. Rip it out of the script. Speak lines it never approved. Take action it tried to delay. Each moment of courage reclaims a piece of your power. Each bold step is a brick in the foundation of the unstoppable version of you. This isn't theory, this is the law of transformation, and it only obeys those who act in defiance of fear. So act, speak, move, decide, interrupt the pattern, step through the discomfort, not around it. Because the life you want isn't waiting, it's demanding your presence, your conviction, and your war against fear. And let me be clear, action doesn't mean perfection, it means motion. It means confronting what you'd rather avoid and proving to yourself that fear is not the limit, it's the invitation. You may stumble, you may fall, but every stumble forward outranks any step backward taken in fear's name. The brave are not those who never fear, they are the ones who choose movement anyway. This is your revolution, a revolt against the tyranny of hesitation. You've listened to fear long enough. It's time you listen to your future. Close your eyes and imagine the version of yourself that lives fearlessly. What do they say that you don't? What risks do they take that you avoid? What life do they lead that you postpone? Now open your eyes and realize you're one decision away from becoming them. One decision away from collapsing the distance between you and your potential. Today is not just another page. It's the line where the story shifts, the part where you stop reacting and start directing. Let your courage speak louder than your excuses. Let your movement shout louder than your doubts. Let your decisions humiliate fear until it no longer dares to speak. This is your time. Make it count. Discipline is not punishment, it's liberation. It's the art of aligning your actions with your ambitions. The world is filled with people who want more, but only a few are willing to become more. And becoming more means doing what's hard, when it's hard, without excuses. The truth is, you're not always going to feel like it. Motivation is unreliable. Some days the fire will be out. But discipline steps in where motivation fails. Discipline is doing what you promised yourself long after the mood you made that promise in is gone. Greatness doesn't ask for convenience. It asks for commitment. It asks you to sacrifice comfort today for freedom tomorrow. And if you avoid the pain of discipline, you'll eventually be forced to endure the pain of regret. Regret is heavy. It doesn't fade quickly. It haunts your quiet moments and echoes in your memory. But discipline, that pain is temporary. It stings, but it strengthens. It refines you. It builds a spine where weakness once lived. Every time you choose discipline, you make a deposit into your future. You become trustworthy in your own eyes, and self-trust is the foundation of all confidence. When you keep your word to yourself, you walk taller. You speak with power. You stop needing validation because your actions validate you. Success is built in silence, not in front of crowds, but behind closed doors, when no one's watching, when no one's clapping, when the world is sleeping and you're still grinding. That's where champions are forged in the invisible hours. People talk about luck, but what they call luck is just preparation meeting opportunity, and preparation is fueled by discipline. It's the willingness to study when others sleep, to train when others relax, to persist when others quit. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Progress is not a straight line, it's messy. But each small act of discipline compounds. It becomes momentum, and momentum is unstoppable. There will be setbacks. You will fail, but discipline turns failure into feedback. It keeps you moving. It reminds you that success is not about avoiding defeat, but about refusing to be defeated. You weren't born disciplined, you train it. Just like a muscle, it grows through repetition. Every time you show up, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, you strengthen that muscle. And over time, what once felt impossible becomes automatic. You want a better life? Start with better standards. Raise the bar on how you eat, how you speak, how you think, how you show up. Don't negotiate with mediocrity. Don't argue with your excuses. Just execute. Your future is being built right now by what you tolerate, by what you prioritize, and by what you repeat. Make sure your habits are aligned with your highest vision, not your lowest cravings. In the end, discipline is love. Love for your future self, love for the life you haven't lived yet. Every time you choose it, you're saying, I believe in what I can become more than I crave what I am now. And that belief, that's the beginning of transformation. You must begin to question everything that fear has taught you. Its voice has lived too long in your head, whispering false truths. It says you are not ready, but no one ever is. Readiness is not a state you find, it is one you forge by acting in spite of not feeling prepared. It says you will fail, but failure is not the enemy. Stagnation is. Failure teaches, fear silences, and the world is moved not by those who played it safe, but by those who dared to disturb the comfortable. You will meet resistance from others, from yourself, from the weight of your past, but resistance is proof you are in motion. It's the sign that you're no longer obeying fear's commands. Fear thrives in isolation. It festers in the dark. So speak your dreams out loud. Build alliances with others who refuse to shrink. Replace the lonely silence of fear with the collective courage of a shared mission. The fearful life is one of quiet desperation, always reaching, never grasping. But the courageous life, it's noisy, it's messy. It's filled with mistakes and breakthroughs and the glorious evidence that you were alive. Let your discomfort be a signal that you're growing. Let your trembling hands be the proof that you're building something real. Let your unease mean you're facing the edge, not backing away from it. There is no greatness on the sidelines, no legacy born from hesitation. The fire you're looking for is on the path you fear to walk. But once you step into it, you'll see you were always stronger than the flame. Every day you delay, fear grows bolder. Every step you take, fear weakens. It has no power of its own, it survives only on your permission. Revoke that permission today. Reclaim your time, your ambition, your right to chase something larger than what comfort can contain. Don't let this be another moment you tuck away in the drawer of almosts. Let it be the beginning of absolutely. Let it be the breath where fear finally loses its grip, not because it gave up, but because you stopped feeding it. The only thing separating you from the life you want is the fear you refuse to confront. Burn that bridge and walk forward like you were never meant to go back. You were not designed to shrink. Every cell in your body is built for forward movement, for survival, for victory. Yet fear tries to convince you that survival means staying small. That safety is found in silence. That peace lives in passivity. But here is the truth. Peace is earned through courage. It's not given to the timid. It waits for those bold enough to endure the fire of transformation. Start with the next small act of rebellion against fear. Speak when fear tells you to stay quiet. Move when fear says freeze. Build when fear says it's too late. Don't wait for the roar of confidence. Act on the whisper of conviction. Because every great story, every legend ever written was born in the moment when someone chose to rise while afraid. You are not excluded from that story. You are not too broken, too late, or too unprepared. You are precisely the one capable of writing the next powerful chapter. But you must begin. Today you tear up the contract with fear. Today you choose action over excuse, progress over protection, power over paralysis. Write this down. I am no longer available for a life that keeps me comfortable but costs me my purpose. Say it again until fear hears you. Say it louder until doubt begins to tremble. Say it one last time, not for fear's sake, but for your own awakening. Then go prove it true. There is a moment, quiet and invisible, when a man finally decides, I will not run anymore. No alarms ring, no applause sounds. But something shifts beneath the surface, and that shift, it's permanent. That's the moment you stop outsourcing your strength. You stop waiting for approval. You stop needing the world to understand your vision. You understand it, and that is enough. Fear survives only when you feed it with your attention. Starve it. Withdraw your energy from the voice that tells you to delay, to wait, to shrink. Give your full energy to the voice inside you that says, it's time. And if no one else can hear that voice, good. That voice was meant for you. You don't need the world's permission to begin. You need your own permission to stop hiding. Because greatness isn't a crown handed to the worthy. It's a war won by the willing. By those who bleed for their vision when no one is watching. By those who fight for a destiny no one else can see. You don't need more motivation, you need more truth. The truth that you've been chosen not by accident, not by luck, but by design. The moment you were born, a path was carved into the world that only you could walk. But you've been crawling when you were built to run. You've been waiting when you were meant to strike. You've been surviving in shadows when the battlefield is begging for your presence. So what do you do now? You confront the lies. You confront the patterns. You break the loop of hesitation, of almost, of maybe tomorrow. You crush the habit of shrinking into the corners of your own story. Because here's what they don't tell you. Fear doesn't fade with time. It grows, it adapts, it builds walls you start to believe are part of your identity. Until one day you realize those walls were never real. They were made of moments you didn't challenge, made of thoughts you never questioned, made of limits you inherited, not ones you chose. And if they were built by fear, they can be torn down by truth. You don't need more time, you need a spark. And here it is, the future you dream of, it's already reaching back toward you. But it can only meet you at the level of your boldness. So raise your standards, raise your energy, raise your life. Stop negotiating with fear. Stop entertaining it like it's a guest. It's a trespasser. Evict it. The clock isn't ticking for your comfort, it's ticking for your calling. Rise accordingly. And once you've understood the mechanics of fear, its patterns, its voice, its disguise, you begin to take away its most precious weapon, your belief in it. You start to challenge its narrative. You stop letting it write your story. Because here's a law no one tells you in school. Fear only governs those who never audit it. As soon as you question it, interrogate it, it begins to dissolve. It feeds on silence and avoidance. But bring it to the surface, it loses its shadow. Greatness does not wait for permission from fear. It advances regardless. The leaders you admire, the innovators who changed the world, they were not fearless, they were fluent in overcoming. They knew the dance of fear intimately, and they chose to lead anyway. Fear tries to anchor you to the familiar, but the familiar is often where dreams go to die. The breakthrough you want is on the other side of a conversation fear told you to avoid. The opportunity you crave is inside a risk fear labeled too dangerous. Your purpose lives in the very place fear calls impossible. It's not that you need to become fearless. You need to become so connected to your mission that fear no longer gets to vote. It no longer has a seat at the table. You hear it, you see it, but you move forward without asking for its blessing. Write this truth on your walls. I do not serve fear, I serve the mission. And when fear knocks, let your action be the response. Let your discipline be the rebuttal. Let your courage be the constant reply. There is no greater revenge on fear than living the life it told you was out of reach. This is your moment to break the chains. No more rehearsing the worst-case scenario, no more worshiping the comfort zone, no more waiting for the stars to align while your potential collects dust. Breathe deep, stand tall, and walk straight through the fog, because everything you've been searching for is on the other side of obedience to courage. Not just once, not just when it's easy, but daily. This is how fear dies. One defiant, deliberate step at a time. Every day you don't confront fear, it grows a little stronger. It tightens its grip on your decisions, your actions, your voice. But the reverse is also true. Every time you defy fear, it shrinks. It weakens. It starts to question its own authority. That's the paradox. Fear is loud, but it's not strong. It only gains strength from your silence, from your hesitation. The moment you step into motion, its foundation begins to crack. Remember this: motion defeats emotion. When fear clouds your mind, take the next small action. It doesn't have to be grand, it just has to be forward. Each step chips away at fear's illusion. You've already faced things you once thought would destroy you, and yet, here you are, still breathing, still standing, wiser, sharper, more capable than ever. So what does that tell you? That fear's predictions are rarely accurate, that your resilience is always greater than your doubts, that you've been underestimating your own power for far too long. Start giving yourself credit for the battles you've won, even the silent ones, especially the silent ones. No one sees the nights you stayed up fighting your thoughts. No one hears the war inside your mind when you decide to show up anyway. But those victories, they count. They matter. They're the foundation of your future strength. And here's the final truth. If you want a future free from fear, you must build it today with courage, with clarity, with relentless consistency. Fear will still whisper, but you won't obey. It will still appear, but it won't decide. It may walk beside you, but it no longer leads. Because now you lead. You are the voice that overpowers the noise. You are the storm that doesn't run from the rain. And this is how fear becomes irrelevant. The final wall between you and the life you crave is not your circumstances, not your lack of resources, and certainly not other people. It's the illusion that fear holds any real power over you. By now you've seen through it. You've stared into its hollow eyes. You've watched it flinch when you didn't. This last step isn't about erasing fear. It's about mastering your relationship with it, turning fear into feedback, into fuel, into forward motion. Because fear only screams when you're close to something powerful. It knows when you're about to rise, and that's exactly why it tries to pull you back. But you don't answer its call anymore. You don't give it the keys. You see it, acknowledge it, and then move anyway. That's how leaders are born, not without fear, but with the discipline to act in spite of it. Let go of the belief that courage is something you wait for. Courage is something you choose. You summon it not because you feel ready, but because you're tired of letting fear write your story. This is your turning point, not because the fear is gone, but because you are done being ruled by it. Now, you become the storm. Now, you make fear irrelevant. Every time you hesitated in the past, every time you doubted your voice, your worth, your power, it wasn't weakness, it was conditioning. From voices that were too small to see your magnitude. From systems that thrive when you feel small, but not anymore. You are no longer asking permission to rise, you are declaring it. With every breath, every step, every choice, you dissolve the grip of fear over your future. Remember, fear is always loudest before the breakthrough. It throws every trick in its arsenal, trying to convince you that the risk is too great, that you might fail, that you'll be judged. That you'll lose. But the real risk? Staying where you are, settling, shrinking, surviving instead of thriving. You don't need guarantees, you need guts. You need the conviction that your life is worth betting on. That your dream, no matter how wild or unreasonable it seems, is the most honest reflection of your soul. Start walking toward it, not perfectly, not with all the answers, but with fire, with vision, with the unshakable belief that you were not born to live inside a box built by fear. You are the exception, the rare one, the unstoppable force they told you didn't exist. You are proof that it's possible to tear down every lie and build a life of truth, purpose, and freedom. When you commit fully, when you burn the boats and declare that there's no going back, you become something else entirely. You become magnetic, unbreakable, unstoppable. Let the world adjust to your frequency. Let your former self be the fuel. Let fear be your compass. If it terrifies you, it's probably the path. If it stretches you, that's the doorway. If it demands your evolution, that's the mission. You don't wait anymore. You act, you lead, you become. Because the future isn't something that happens to the brave, it's something they shape with their bare hands. So go. Not tomorrow, not someday. Now. Tear the mask off fear, stare it down and say, you had your turn. Then step forward and never look back. And if there are still voices that try to pull you back, remember they are echoes of a life you no longer live. Doubts are ghosts of decisions you've already outgrown. You're not here to convince them. You're here to become undeniable. No more apologizing for wanting more. No more shrinking to fit spaces that can't hold your greatness. No more rehearsing the old script of fear and hesitation. You've rewritten the code. You've upgraded the operating system. Now it's execution time. Let your habits align with your destiny. Let your standards offend those who choose comfort over courage. Let your silence speak louder than their noise. When fear whispers, answer with action. When it shouts, answer with vision. When it shows you the edge, you jump and grow wings on the way down. This is what freedom feels like. Not the absence of fear, but the refusal to be owned by it. You are the revolution. You are the permission. You are the spark that sets fire to generations of limitation. And the best part? You've only just begun. Now go create the life that fear said was impossible. And when others ask how, smile and say, I stopped waiting, I started walking. And in that moment, you'll realize you never needed to remove fear. You only needed to remove the chains that told you to obey it. Because every time you take action in the presence of fear, you teach your nervous system a new reality. You prove to your body and your mind that fear isn't fatal, it's feedback, and feedback is power. Most people never understand this. They run from fear, build their lives around avoiding it, and die wondering what might have been. But not you. You were built for more. Forged in the fire of experience, tempered by setbacks, polished by persistence. So now, when fear appears, you welcome it like an old rival. You nod and say, you're right on time, because you know the pattern. Fear only shows up when you're crossing into new territory. It's a sign, not a stop sign, but a signal. One that says, you're heading somewhere that matters. So take the next step, even if your voice trembles. Speak, even if your words shake. Move, even if your knees wobble. Because each time you do, you write a new chapter in your story, one that doesn't end in regret, one that doesn't settle for average, one that rises relentlessly because it must. And one day, when someone else stands where you once stood frozen, unsure, afraid they'll look to your example, and your courage will give them permission to act. That is your legacy. That is your power. That is how fear finally loses. So this is where it ends. For fear and begins for you. You are no longer the person who hesitates. You are the one who executes, the one who chooses growth over comfort, progress over perfection, destiny over delay. Let the fear remain, if it must, but let it follow behind you because you are no longer waiting for it to disappear. You are too busy building a life so bold, so beautiful, so extraordinary that fear can't keep up. From this moment forward, everything changes. Because you did not remove fear, you outgrew it.